Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. I just put my little ticker on for a minute I like to put on at the beginning. Hello, how are we all? I hope you're all well. I'm having a Merlot tonight. I hope you're having something that you like, whether it be tea, coffee, wine, whatever floats your boat, spliff, whatever. Everybody has their thing. I've decided I'm having a wine tonight, even though it's only Wednesday. But life's too short not to. Because, yeah, we've got this poor lady that's missing, Gaynor Lord. Her daughters are frantic, worrying about what's happened to her. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the CCTV. We're going to try and learn a little bit about Gaynor, have a few thoughts, about, it's difficult to be positive, but it could be positive. There's always a possibility. She may just have taken herself off somewhere. Unfortunately, of course, a lot of her things have been found, haven't they? But we're going to look into that. So just first of all, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching my videos, liking my videos, for supporting me in any way that you support me. Lots of you bought me a Ko-fi recently, and sometimes I don't see that for a couple of days. So thank you so much for that. Anyone who sent me a super, of course, all my members. I'm looking forward to the members live tomorrow. And in the members live tomorrow, just to let you know what we'll be looking at, I have had a reply from the Freedom of Information Act about the 999 call on the day that Nicola Bulley went missing by Mr. Ansell. So that's what we'll be looking at tomorrow in the members live. What else did I want to say? Oh, and thank you to those of you that have bought my merchandise. That's a definite work in progress, and I'll be carrying on sort of trying to add to that and that. But quite a few of you have bought things, and I want to see photos of you having, not you don't have to put your face on them, obviously, but if you're having either a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever the product is that you've bought. Just thank you so much for in any way you've supported my channel. Thank you. Okay, so what am I going to do first? So first of all, I'm going to say a quick hello to everybody. Oh, sorry, I meant to turn that off. Hang on. Turn my ticker off. So yeah, thank you for liking. Even if all you do is watch the videos. I know some people don't even like to subscribe because they don't like to get notifications all the time on the phone. Whatever you do to support my channel, thank you. Even my trolleys, my trolley dollies. Okay, so let's go to say hello to everybody first. And there's a lot of you here. It's nice to see, as always, you're all chatting between yourselves. So Chumba was first. Hi, Chumba. Oh, Rio's working. That work gets in the way. Oh, I've been working all day and trying to do other things like videos and things like that. And work gets in the way, doesn't it? But anyway, yeah, see you later on the catch up. Hi, Miss Bam Bam. Hi, Mark Shippen. Hi, Desi. Hope you've made it back. Hi, Robin. Yeah, it's difficult to feel positive about this case, but we have to stay positive. For her daughter's sake, really. Hi, Annie. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Jackie with a CQ. Chumba came back. Hi, Tina. Hi, David. I hope you're feeling better. 5 p.m. Oh, that's David saying hello to everybody separately. Tina does it really well because she seems to be. I've tried to do that, just takes me too long. Hi, Mal. Nice to see you. Now everybody's chatting between themselves, talking about what they've had for dinner. Hi, Gail. Said hello to Tina. Hi, Heather. Hi. Hi, Michael. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Jean. Wendy's on the McDonald's by the sound of it. Springburn. My ex-boyfriend, I had a boyfriend from Springburn. Anyway, totally changing the subject there. Nobody will know what I'm talking about. Wesley. Hi, Wesley. Hi, Claire. Oh, Michael, you're in Norfolk because it's Norwich, isn't it, this case? Anyway, that's what we're going to do. So, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. And thank you to everyone who's watching at home. Not everybody likes to join in the chat, I know. Hi, Julie. But, so thank you for watching. You like my singing, Heather? I've been singing on the Advent. Nobody likes my singing. Hi, Obsidian 111. It's an impressive nickname. Okay. So, right, let me, so it's only 45 miles from you, Michael. Hi, Susan, hi. Now, I'm going to go to Sky News first because there is something we have got some good news tonight, believe it or not. Some good news that I saw as I was just checking on Sky News. Thank you, Heather, it makes your day. I was just checking on Sky News. Just to see if there'd been any update. And anyway, I'm going to read out what they say. And there is some good news. This is the good news. James Bulger killer John Venables has lost his bid for parole. So the decision to reject his bid for parole was made by a panel following a 2-day hearing held behind closed doors. You just look at that picture, you can't believe that a little boy like that did such a horrible thing. But not only did that awful thing when he was 10, of course, he's done several other awful things since. So, he's not changed. He's never going to change. He's never going to change. He can't change. I honestly believe that. He cannot change. It's not a choice. I'm sure if he could choose to not be the way he was, he would choose to not be the way he was. But he is the way he is. He should never be released. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. And also, if they released him, they'd have to give him a new identity again. And, just keep him in there. Just throw away the key. I think it's just awful that the mother, Denise, the mother of James Bulger, every however many years, has to go through all this torment of not knowing whether he's going to be released again. It's just awful for her. Anyway, so there you go. There's the good news. The panel was not satisfied that the release at this point would be safe for the protection of the public. So he's not coming out. We can rest in peace for a little while again, or Denise can. So a spokeswoman for for James's mother, Denise, said, "This is the day Denise has waited for years. The prospect of him coming out was terrifying, as we knew he'd harm again. This is a day we celebrate, and we thank the parole board for making the correct decision." So the Justice Secretary at the moment is Alex Chalk, and he says, good for him, James Bulger's barbaric murder was a crime that shocked the nation, and I welcome the parole board's decision to keep his killer behind bars. Now, I'm not sure. Anyway, so he was originally released in 2001 with a new identity. I mean, it's important to say that the other boy, not John Venables, the other boy, I can't remember his name, Robert Thompson, that's it. He has not reoffended as far as we know. He's we don't know where he is or what he's doing because he's under a false identity. But as far as we know, he hasn't done anything further. Venables is now 41 and he was sent back to jail in 2010 after indecent images of children were found on his computer. And he then served another 3 years before being recalled again in 2017 for the same offence. Come on, justice system, that's it. Don't give him no more chances. He's had his chances. He's had loads of chances. That's the end of it. He's a twonk. He'll always be a twonk. He's never not going to be a twonk. Don't let him out. Anyway, so I thought you might like to hear about that, because that is some good news. David is a twonk. I'm trying to be polite. I'm not swearing. Okay. So there you go. Bit of good news to start off with. I just make sure that I haven't missed anyone coming in. Don't think I have. David, have you got your swear jar there? Have you got a swear box? They save up for next Christmas. Yeah, I knew you'd be pleased, Chumba, because I know it triggers you especially. Hi, Julie Robinson. Thank you. Yes, all remember the thumbs up, please. Kelly. Hi, Kelly. I hope I haven't missed anyone. I don't think I've missed anyone. If I've missed you, say hello again, and then I'll say hello to you. Ooh, gosh, the tree was attacking me. Okay, so that's a bit of good news to start off with, isn't it? Unfortunately, though, we're going to look at what has happened. Oh, hi, Ruth. Gary, Ruth. Sorry, Ruth, I'm just reading what you're saying there. Yes, our German Shepherd, we got some tablets off the internet and they just work perfectly for her. Because obviously here it's a lot warmer, so there's only a couple of months in the year, maybe January and February, where it's really cold, and that's when her arthritis seems to be bad. Sorry for talking about dogs, it's just that Ruth has asked this question. I'll try and remember to put the name of it. Don't know if I've got I don't know where I've got the bottle. I might be able to find it later. Anyway, but yes, we bought some off Amazon, some tablets on Amazon, and they worked like a treat. Hi, Diane Nicola. Okay, so I may not be able to chat now for a while because I'm going to look now at what did happen or what we know so far about Gaynor. Now, first thing I want to show you actually is because the Daily Mail has already compared it. In fact, we'll look at the Daily Mail first because I found it quite interesting that in their article, they immediately compared this to the Nicola Bulley case. So we'll see in a moment. So this is the CCTV. So this lady, she's called Gaynor Lord. She's 55 years old. She finished work when she works at a department store in Norwich. She finished work, smiling, everything seemed fine, and she left in a hurry. Now that is something that if you've seen this CCTV, you'll notice she's running. So it's like she's in a hurry to get somewhere. Let's have a look. Let me just make sure you can see it. Okay, yeah. But very strange that she was running and she looked happy enough, but we know that doesn't mean anything. You can never be sure with people. You never know what's going on inside. But see how she's running. She almost even gets run over. She's definitely in a rush to get somewhere. But twice she nearly gets run over. And here she's not running, but she's walking very quickly, isn't she? She's in a rush to get somewhere. She's putting a coat on now, so she must be starting to get cold, or it's starting to rain, or whatever. But she's moving some. Let's just watch it again, where she's literally running there. But why is she running? I mean, if she was going to delete herself, what's the rush, to be honest? She's so desperate to move quickly. She almost gets run over a couple of times. Okay. So that's the video, the CCTV. Now, she's been missing for 5 days. So, again, it doesn't obviously look very positive, but we have to be positive. And I'm sure her children, her daughters, adult daughters, are trying their very best to be positive. But when it's 5 days after she's disappeared, it doesn't look very promising. So now specialist divers are joining the search 5 days later. Well, we've heard all that before, haven't we? Anyway, so police have released CCTV of missing mother Gaynor Lord, who has not been seen for 5 days. She was seen leaving a city centre department store in Norwich, where she worked, at 2:45 p.m. on Friday. God, what's it with Fridays? A huge search has been underway, with police divers called in after her coat was found in a river in the nearby Wensum Park. I don't know Norwich, so I don't know Wensum Park, but we'll look at some photos, etc. of it, and it's quite big. Also, her clothes, 2 rings, mobile phone and glasses were also discovered nearby at around 8:10 p.m. on the night she went missing. Images and footage released by Norwich police this afternoon show the missing mother smiling as she left her place of work before she was spotted on camera running down the street in the city centre with her coat in hand. She definitely looked to me like she was rushing to get somewhere, maybe to meet someone. Anyway, it comes as specialist deep water police divers from neighbouring Lincolnshire Constabulary were pictured searching Wensum Park this afternoon, and the teams were equipped with enhanced sonar equipment to search the water. I just keep thinking that Mr. Folding's just going to swoop in or something at some point, like Superman. But anyway, look, she looks happy enough. This is her leaving at the end of her shift, but we don't know if she actually was happy or not. I mean, you just don't know. Lots of people, if you looked at people like Robin Williams, before they actually deleted themselves, they were smiling. People do that, so we don't know for sure. But anyway, at 2:44, she leaves her shift on the Bullard's gin counter in the basement of Jarrell's department store, Norwich, early before she exited via the loading bay on Bedford Street 2 minutes later. Now, as someone who has worked in a department store, although it was many years ago, in Lewis's in Manchester, that's the only way normally you're allowed to leave, through the loading bay, because there's like a security there. You're not supposed to leave through any of the normal exits, that people leave by. We did used to do it sometimes, like when we used to sneak out in our afternoon break to go to the pub or whatever. We've done all sorts of things. We'd take off our uniforms and uniforms. We'd have like one of those white jackets, because I worked in the food hall in Lewis's, and we'd be wearing like a white coat thing, and we would take that off and leave it at the bottom of the stairs, and then go out over to the pub just over the road, the Shakespeare. Some of you there, like you, Heather, maybe you know the Shakespeare, but it was literally right opposite the back entrance of Lewis's, and we used to sneak out there and have a couple of drinks in our break or whatever. But we weren't supposed to do that. You were always supposed to come and go through the loading bay, and I think that was like a security thing. Anyway, there she is now. So she's smiling there as she comes out. You can see on that picture, she does look a little bit concerned there. But to me, because she's running, She looks like she's concerned she's going to be late, doesn't she? She's worrying about something. I mean, they say she's walking, but to me, she looks like she's running there, or certainly walking very quickly. So speaking of the CCTV, Norwich Policing Commander Wes Hornigold said, "Today we're releasing the footage of Gaynor's last known steps on Friday afternoon before she went missing." Let me just make sure you're all right on chat. I have to come back every now and again. Hi Hannah, hi Vegan. Okay, so yeah, we're all okay. So let's carry on. So yeah, it's very mysterious, isn't it? Anyway, today we are releasing the footage of Gaynor's last known steps on Friday afternoon before she went missing. Well, thank goodness they've actually released the footage. We still have not seen the last supposed dashcam footage of Nicola Bulley, have we? That was supposedly she was caught on dashcam footage in her car, even though she wasn't caught actually, entering the river area or whatever, or leaving. But at least we saw it with this one. They're releasing some CCTV to try and jog the memory of anyone who may have seen her in the city that afternoon, or who may have footage of her journey. And we're particularly keen on hearing from anyone who may have seen Gaynor in the cathedral grounds, which she enters at 2:50 and leaves at 3:23. So she was in there for a fair amount of time. She was in there for 30 minutes, more or less, or just over 30 minutes. So it's not clear where she goes inside the cathedral grounds, unless she went into the cathedral. Maybe she said a few prayers. Maybe she was intending to do something to herself. Who knows? Who knows? But we're keen to hear from anyone who may have seen her there. We are continuing our extensive searches, but would appeal to the public to come forward with any information which may help to find Gaynor. Well, in a minute, we're going to look at the BBC news, because they do speak to an eyewitness who apparently did see Gaynor in the park. So we will be looking at that in a moment. In the footage, you can clearly see what she was wearing when she went missing. This is a particularly stressful time for her family, and specialist officers continue to provide support. Well, I hope they've learned something from that College of Policing review. Hopefully they will have been given a proper family liaison officer. All those mistakes that they made in the the College of Policing review over Nicola Bulley, hopefully they'll have been useful in this case. Oh, here it's mentioned the witness. A witness said she saw a woman matching Miss Lord's description in Wensum Park, where her clothes were later found at around 4 p.m. Rosie Richards, who lives locally, said, "It's really upsetting. I'm just thinking of her friends and family, because she's sort of a similar age to my mom, and that would be awful to be going through what they're going through right now." I mean, it would be awful, and especially, in less than 2 weeks, it's Christmas. People say the most likely scenario is that she entered the water. And this is strange, really, for the Mail to actually say this, I think. But the case has similarities to that of Nicola Bulley, who sparked a high-profile search earlier this year when she dropped off her 2 daughters at school in St Michael's on Wyre, Lancashire. Her body was found in the River Wyre on February the 19th, about a mile from where she vanished while walking her dog on January the 27th. Do you know what? I can't shake this feeling, and I hope I'm right. I can't shake this feeling, and I've thought it right from the beginning, and I just hope it's true. I do feel like the police know more about Nicola's case. I really do feel inside. It's just something about Nicola's his case when he murdered his wife Lindsay. It took nearly 2 years before that came out. Anyway, what happened to Nicola, but what I'm saying is sometimes it takes a long time for the truth to come out, for evidence, for, you know, the police to make a case. And I'm always hopeful of that. Her phone and the dog's harness were discovered nearby. So this is Nicola. And an inquest in June concluded she accidentally. Talking about that, I just feel strange. But anyway, yesterday, Miss Lord's daughters both reposted several versions of Norfolk police appeals for information about their mother's disappearance on Facebook. So we're at the point where it was in Nicola's case, wasn't it? After a week had gone by, the family was still making interviews. Emma White was going off and getting interviewed left, right and centre, making appeals. Louise, Nicola's sister, Louise Cunningham, she was appealing on. They were all saying at the time she definitely wasn't in the river, and all that sort of scenario was going on. But the police were saying, you know, that their working hypothesis was that she had gone in the river. Now, they didn't say that she had fallen in the river, or even that she had jumped in the river. The way they put it, the way Rebecca Smith put it at that press conference, had gone in the river. Gosh. Anyway, so Alexandra Lord, of one of the Facebook posts, please share. If anyone knows anything, please do contact the police. We want her home. So here's Gaynor. You know, she looks happy enough, but you just never can tell, can you? You cannot tell. Okay, so these are the photos of her. She looks sort of a little bit worried there. To me, she looks like she's worried she's going to be late. But I don't know, or maybe she was thinking in her head, no, I'm definitely going to do it. Who knows what people think in their heads before they do these things, go through their mind. But so as she walks along the pavement, she can be seen still holding her coat in her left hand. And then later she puts her coat on. So at 3:22, she's seen leaving the cathedral grounds approximately 30 minutes later. Well, what was she doing? Unless she was praying. At 3:49, she's spotted on CCTV near the Playhouse on St. George's Street before walking along St. Crispin's Road towards Pitt Street. At 4:01 p.m., she walks up St. Augustine Street. Oh God, we're not going to have timelines and all that again, are we? God, all those timelines for Nicola Bulley and how often they change. It all seems a little bit more. What's the word? It seems a lot. I'm sure they have learned from the Nicola Bulley case, aren't you? I mean, sorry, I'm just going to come back to you, make sure I haven't missed anyone. You're okay. Hi, Jim. Julie Dawn. Hi. Now, so, hi, Katrina. Somebody just said there about her leaving. Yeah. She's leaving. She left work early. Some high blank faces. Leave at the back door. Well, I think though, Wendy, we were saying about leaving out the back door, but as I was saying earlier, I think in a department store, you always have to go out of the loading bay. That was, you know, when I worked in a department store, you could only go out of one entrance. I don't know. Now, the thing is, they will be checking her telephone, etc. You know, and the police will know more, of course they will. So maybe she had. Hi Mariah. Maybe she got a text, you know, and she had to rush out. She was definitely rushing. She was definitely rushing off. Yeah, well, I think she was running to meet someone, Charlie, personally. But there'll be details on her phone, won't there? There will be details on her phone. So, of course, they've got a phone. And Charlie, they've closed off the park. So this is the other thing they've done much more efficiently, is they have closed the park. Nobody can go in the park. No, that is exactly what they should have done with Nicola. And you know what I think? I think they were led astray straight from the beginning, the police. I really do think and I've always said it right from the beginning, they were totally caught on the back foot. They just took the word of somebody as to what was going on. But anyway, we're not talking about that now. We're going to be talking about that again soon. So here we go. We've got the search for Gaynor Lord. We've got Friday, 2:45 p.m. She leaves Gerald's department store. She's spent then at 2:47. She's on CCTV. 2:48. She's crossing the road and walking towards the cathedral. 3:49. She's after spending 30 minutes. Now, it says in the cathedral grounds, so she's not gone in the cathedral to pray or, unless they're not sure of that. It says 30 minutes in the cathedral grounds. And then she walks north along St. Augustine Street. Now, we don't know anything about her telephone calls and things like that, but the police will know. Then at 4 p.m., a witness spots a woman matching her description doing yoga. Oh, doing yoga. That's the first time I've seen that. A witness spots a woman matching Gaynor's description doing yoga in Wensum Park. And then at 8:10, belongings found in Wensum Park. And by now she's been reported missing. That makes me a bit worried. If she was doing yoga, did somebody see her doing yoga? You don't do yoga before you delete yourself, surely. Now, okay, so on Sunday, they closed the park. On Sunday, the police closed the park after more belongings, including jewellery, are found. Now, they found her clothes. Her coat is in the river, and they found her clothes. Now, this is another thing that makes me feel more or less 95% certain she has not done something to herself, because women do not do things to themselves. Generally, there'll be exceptions, but they do not delete themselves naked. They just don't do it. And even Mr. Folding in Luke's interview the other day said that women tend to put all their makeup on and everything. They don't want to be found with no clothes on, because even though they know they'll be dead, it's just, women just don't do that because they'd feel embarrassed. So when they said that they'd found her clothes, I did then straight away think this woman probably hasn't done something to herself. Somebody's done something to her, because I could see she could fold everything up. And imagine though, being in a park at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't know who's going to walk by anyway, unless she was in a mental state where she wasn't even thinking about that. My personal opinion would be, if she was naked, it's not her that's done it. That's my personal opinion. Now, having said that, why her jewellery would be found and her phone, but of course we don't know, because you think if somebody had done something to her, would they steal her jewellery? Or maybe they're trying to make it look like she's done something to herself, like throwing the coat in the river. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Until there's more news, we just don't know. I'm just giving my thoughts on it, just from experience in dealing with true crime and people, what coroners themselves say. Because one of the cases, Linda Potter, that I covered on a video, and her husband had murdered her, and then he had actually hung her up as if she had committed suicide, and the police straight away just accepted it. When the police went round, they just thought, oh, it's a self-deletion, that's it. And it was the coroner who, so coroners aren't always bad, sometimes they're bloody brilliant, because this coroner, she was a woman, and she felt suspicious immediately, because she was thinking women do not, if they do you know, they do sometimes, you know, HANG themselves, but not normally naked in her experience. So she was immediately suspicious that it may not be a self-deletion, and the body was exhumed, and and he was found, her husband was successfully prosecuted for her murder, and he actually confessed to her murder to a young, I think she was Polish or Eastern European girl that he had an eye on, you know, and he thought he had a chance with. I don't know if any of you have ever watched that video. It's one of my videos on my true crime playlist. So yeah, so because of that video and knowing what this coroner had said, when I read that her clothes were there, straight away I thought, don't know. Anyway, so then on Monday, specialist teams use I'm laughing through nervousness, not because I think it's funny. Specialist teams use a drone and sonar equipment to search the area, but nothing is found. On Tuesday, police begin underwater searches after her coat is found in the water. And Wednesday, searches continue. So as far as I know at this moment, there's no further news. Let's just have a look at this video. So they've had the wherewithal to close off the park, so nobody can go in now. They should do that, even whether they think the suspicious circumstances or not, because as I was saying about Nicola's case, how could the public be allowed to roam around when they were looking really basically for a body in the water, weren't they? That's what they were looking for. Their working hypothesis was that she'd gone into the water, so they were expecting to find her really any minute. So there shouldn't have been any public allowed anywhere near that scene. I always think it must be such an unpleasant job as well, isn't it? Because actually water gives me the creeps. So the thought of going looking for a body, really, basically, which is what they're doing, it's, now, it looks quite a lot bigger than St. Michael's, the river in St. Michael's, doesn't it? It looks quite a bit bigger, but it doesn't look, it's obviously not deep because the police are just wading around in it, and it doesn't look very flowing either. I think what I was saying earlier, I'm sure it said, didn't it, that they'd used sonar but hadn't found anything, and now they're doing like almost a fingertip search, aren't they? Gosh.
You have a problem with the two bloods.
Well, I'll tell you what, rather you than me. So,
hay tantas versiones distintas de ti. La que...
Okay, let's have a look at the BBC. Oh, here you go. Just come back, make sure you're all okay. Hi, Charlie. The other, we've got another Charlie. Charlie, you've got another Charlie. I think this Charlie's got to go because he's a bit of a twonk. We don't have twonks in here, the other Charlie. If you want to come back and say something normal, but if you don't bother coming back. So, Susan, I don't think there were any pics of her after the cathedral. I don't think so. Yeah, Charlie, you're the nice Charlie. We just had a nasty Charlie, but he's gone. But he can come back. But if he says anything like what he's just said, he's gone for good. Okay, so let's have a look at the BBC. All right, Charlie. We don't mind Charlies, but we don't want right Charlies. Okay, so they're talking here about the eyewitness. So here's Gaynor again, bless her. An eyewitness has come forward. That's what we were looking at before. So I don't think she was seen on CCTV after the cathedral, but this eyewitness saw her doing yoga. She said she saw a woman matching her description in Wensum Park, and on the last thing that we read about, it said she was doing yoga. And this is the girl that saw her, Rosie Richards, believes she saw a woman matching the description of 55-year-old Gaynor Lord. Yeah, so on Monday, about 10 police vehicles, a police drone and 2 search and rescue rigid inflatable boats were seen scouring the area. Officers are continuing to review CCTV. They'll have a lot of CCTV to go through. And on Tuesday, officers turned their attention to the water. So obviously they've turned their attention to the water because they found her coat in the water. But look at the difference here. So even the media are not allowed on the scene. Wensum Park has been closed to members of the public since Saturday. So, you know, it's much better dealt with, isn't it? But it's like Back to the Future. Superintendent Wes Hornigold said, our working hypothesis at the moment is that Gaynor is in the water, and that's what we're working towards. It's a missing person inquiry. There's no evidence at the moment to suggest that there's any third-party involvement here, which is fair enough. No evidence at the moment. This is a significant operation in terms of searching both the park and the waterways. Searching water is quite challenging, which of course it is. And as of tomorrow, we will have on-site specialists. Oh my God, what if Mr. Folding turns up there? I bet he's dying for a phone call. He'd be like, oh, come on. I bet he's been on the phone saying, I'll come and I'll offer my services for free. Sorry, I don't mean to be facetious, but if you didn't laugh, you'd cry with these things. As of tomorrow, we will have on-site specialist dive teams to support that operation. And look, they're at this point where they want the public to help. It's funny, isn't it? Then later, it's like the public are like a load of crap. But now, at the moment, they're at that point. It's important to emphasise the role the public can play. And they urged any eyewitnesses to get in touch. I'm just going back to chat to make sure. Hi, Rabbit Man. Just want to make sure the right Charlie don't come back and say horrible things. Okay, where am I? BBC, aren't I? Yeah, that was, where was I? Right, so here's your timeline. From Friday again. Oh God, what happened? What's going on Fridays? So on Friday, the 8th of December, she was seen on London Street in Norwich City Centre, heading towards the cathedral, 14:45. Friday at 16 at 4 o'clock, An eyewitness say they saw a woman matching the description of Miss Lord in Wensum Park, and it said earlier in that other report that they were doing yoga. Friday evening, she was reported missing after failing to return home from work, and her belongings, including clothing and jewellery, were found by a member of the public in Wensum Park. I'd be very surprised if she's taken off her clothes in a public place like that and then gone into the water. Do you see what I mean? I'm not being silly, am I? I mean, that just does seem, even if you did want to delete yourself, would you really take all your clothes off? Anyway, on Sunday, police announced Wensum Park is closed after more belongings, including jewellery, are found. Monday, specialist search teams use a drone and sonar equipment. Nothing is found. Tuesday, police turn their attention to underwater searches. And Wednesday, police release CCTV footage. So she is described as white, 5'6" tall, and with blonde, shoulder-length hair in a bob. When she was last seen, she was wearing a white shirt, yellow tank top, large olive-coloured coat, and a scarf. So the police said, we haven't been able to establish why she left early, and her disappearance is out of character, so we were naturally concerned for her welfare. Right, just before I come off this, I just want to show you, we're going to look again at this. Let's have one more look at CCTV. Just make sure you're okay. Hi, Amethyst. Well, yeah, I mean, that's it, David. A woman of that age, but a woman of any age. I mean, young girls, they're conscious about their bodies. You know, women are very conscious about their bodies, even if they've got perfect bodies. Oh, Julie Dawn, yeah, Mr. Falding's on holiday. Maybe he's gone to Norwich on holiday. But yeah, I agree, Hannah. It's a horrible job. It's a horrible job. Anyway, let's just have one more look at the CCTV. Sorry, you have to. No, come on. But she's definitely in a hurry for something, isn't she? No. Someone said like a woman of 55, definitely, but anyone really who wasn't really. She's running quite well, to be honest. I won't be able to run like that, but she's running because she's hurrying to get somewhere. She's trying to get somewhere for a certain time for some reason. She's not running just for the sake of it. You know, nobody runs for nothing, you know, unless they're actually running like as an exercise. She's rushing. What's she rushing for? Maybe there was something on at the cathedral at a certain time. I don't know. Very odd. Very, very odd. Let's just watch one more time. I mean, she's got a proper jog on. She's not just walking quick. She's really rushing. And to be honest, if you were going to, you know, delete yourself, why would you, you know, what's the rush? There's more to this, I think. Personally, I'd be very surprised if she's done something to herself. For the reasons that I've said, because she's rushing, because she left work early, because she was naked. If she took her clothes off, I find that really strange. And maybe her coat was put in the water as a decoy. Maybe she's nowhere near the water. Maybe the clothes were taken there later on that day. Maybe she did a yoga, went off somewhere else, came to some, you know, something, and then that person went back to the park and dumped her clothes there at the side of the river and threw her coat in the water. You know, it's all possible, isn't it? So Yeah. I mean, if any of you ever well, let's hope. She may have, sometimes people want to disappear, don't they? Maybe to look at, maybe she wanted. If we look on the bright side, I think really the only positive thing that we can think is if she wanted to disappear, that she made it look as if something had happened to her. But I've got to, let's hope that, Wendy, that she did a Shirley Valentine or a Reginald Perrin. If any of you remember Reginald Perrin from many, many years ago. And then there was the Australian guy who really did do it, didn't he? John somebody was he called. Oh, Charlie, you're just an idiot, aren't you? Sorry. Bye. So, yeah, maybe, maybe she did. John Stonehouse, wasn't it? John Stonehouse. Hi, 411. Yeah. Yeah, Charlie Twat has gone. I mean, you know what? There's one thing about having a joke, but when you disrespect him, where a woman has gone missing and God knows what's happened to her, Charlie, you probably still watch. You can watch, of course. I can't stop you watching, but you can't comment. You'll never be able to comment again. We don't need idiots like you. You are exactly what this world doesn't need, because you don't contribute anything good to the world. You think you're funny. You're not even funny, actually. You know what I mean? So, you are, as one of my chatters just said, he called you a TWAT. I'm not going to say that word out loud, but actually you are that. So, yeah. So 411, you're saying she had a mobile in her hand while she was running. I didn't notice a mobile because she had a coat and everything, but yeah, she definitely, she's not just walked out of work early because for no reason, or as she, and she just suddenly thought, oh, that's it, I've had enough of this world, I'm going. No, I think there's more to this, and I think the most reason why I think that is because I don't think she would have gone in naked in a public park. She's going to take her clothes off and get into the water. I just don't believe that for a minute, to be honest. Well, do you know what, Susan? There may be more CCTV, that they're just not showing. The police won't show us everything, will they? They show us what they can. Oh, Claire, he was just saying stupid thing. I can't even, I wouldn't even repeat it. He was just being disrespectful to a woman who's gone missing just before Christmas, whose daughter. I just hope it never happens to anyone he loves. Anybody. Well, there's probably nobody that he loves, but anyway. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about him. So I think it's a diversion. I think it's a decoy. Because didn't Mr. Folden, he was saying about that girl. So when he was talking about Nicola, before he decided that he'd found Nicola within 6 minutes, and he was all over the news saying that he thought, it was a decoy, everything was a decoy, because of a case that he'd been involved with where the person who had murdered the girl, oh God, I can't remember her name now. I think it was Laura, someone, had left a shoe by the side of the river to make it look as if she'd gone into the river, but it turned out no, she had been murdered. So I think she's got 2 daughters, Wendy. She's got 2 daughters. And I think she's got a husband called Clive, but I don't know. Somebody mentioned that. Let's see if she has. Oh, the other, just let me show you, because just for people who might want to know, because of course it is a little bit similar to the Nicola, it's feeling similar to the way it felt in the beginning of the Nicola Bulley case. I just want to show you where not for people who are out there who aren't from the UK, or people like me who've got no idea of geography, even though I am from the UK. This is Norwich. This is where it's happened. So it's a long way from St. Michael's. Well, it's a long way. If you're in America, if you're American, you'll think that's nothing. It's 4 hours, 46 minutes. Probably drive that to work. Some people that live in America and bigger places, America, Canada, etc. But this is Norwich, so it's not far from the. I would have not have known where it was, and I know that sounds awful, but my geography is rubbish. I wouldn't have known. If you would have said to me, "Where's Norwich?" I wouldn't have had a clue. So it's a long way from St. Michael's on Wyre. So it's unlikely, it's unlikely to be actually related, except for the similarities with the case. Anyway, I'm sure the police, the police know a lot more. I'm sure the police know a lot more. They've released what they can, to encourage people to come forward, etc. But there'll be things that they haven't released, and they've got her phone. So, oh, that's right. I was going to look for her family. Yeah, I think she's got more than one daughter. Let's see. Yeah, so it talks a lot about her daughters, but I'm not sure about her husband. Yeah, her husband is called Clive Lord, and they were formerly co-directors of a company called Lord's Wealth Management, and Mr. Lord has declined to comment. So, of course, the Daily Mail is condemning. Oh, here, let's see out now. Right, let's have a look at this. Hi, Ocean. So, police scour missing mother Gaynor Lord's phone for clues after discovering it in the park where she was last seen performing a yoga pose after leaving work at the department store last Friday. So, the mobile phone of missing Gaynor Lord is being urgently analysed by police to see if it holds clues as to why the mother of three disappeared. She left work early on Friday and was we've gone through so she was last seen in the park doing yoga poses and removing her coat, which was later found in the river, sparking fears for her safety. Bless her. Bless, bless, bless. So I think we need some prayers tonight for Gaynor. Hope that it doesn't don't I know. Oh dear me. Well, we can't make comments about Clive because we don't know anything about him. We just don't know, do we? So we shouldn't cast aspersions. We got into trouble for that last time. Yeah. Oh, you're in Suffolk, Rabbit Man. Yeah. I do think, yeah, it's right. We've just got to hope that there's some, I don't know, some positive result, but it doesn't look good. But I'm struggling to find sort of a positive note to end on, to be honest. But of course, as soon as I know anything, I will, let you know as soon as I do hear anything, and I'm sure you'll let me. I've been inundated with emails and messages about this case today, people asking me to cover it and to, ask me if I've heard about it, and it's similar case. People not only from the UK, but from all, any of my subscribers seem to have heard about this case. So, yeah. Hi, Beryl. You're just up the road. Yeah. I think that's it. We all need to say some prayers, don't we, tonight for Gaynor and her family, and just hope against hope that this has a good resolution. It doesn't look very promising, but you know what? Things sometimes they don't look promising and things do turn out okay. Hi, Silver Soul. So we've just got to pray. That's all we can do. Yeah, Rabbit Man, keep me informed. Anybody who hears anything, let me know. And I will be back as soon as I hear anything. It's like one of those, isn't it? Like with Nicola, you sort of want them to find her in one way, but in another way, you don't, because if it's not going to be a positive thing, you know. So we just stay positive until we know for certain. And you know, yeah, prayers for her girls, for her daughters, and that, you know, and especially the time of year. I know it'd be horrible any time of year, but just, oh, everyone will be carrying on like celebrating Christmas, and you just want the world to stop. And I do know that when my best friend died on Christmas Day, well, when she was actually first run over and she was in intensive care, and I went to work because I just couldn't bear to sit at home. And I was working at the Department of Health and Social Security in Rusholme in Manchester, which is, you know, not one of the most salubrious areas of Manchester. And I was on the reception, and I just, you know, people were just like, I shouldn't have gone in. I mean, it wasn't their fault because they didn't know. There's my best friend, like in intensive care in a coma after a terrible, you know, accident. And they're whinging about like really silly things, and you just want the world to stop, don't you? You know, I wanted to just say to him, do you know my friend's in intensive care? You know, and that was coming up to Christmas, and she actually died on Christmas Day. Well, they turned off the machine on Christmas Day because it was just a machine keeping her alive. She was brain dead. So I know how it feels, because it was about 2 weeks before Christmas that she was run over. It's just, I mean, it would be horrible in any case, but I think Christmas, it's just everybody's just enjoying themselves, and you just want to say to them, oh, don't you know what's happening? You know, what you want the world to stop. Feel like the world should stop because you've lost somebody really special. And, you know, she wasn't my mum, she was my friend, but she wasn't my mum or my daughter. So, yeah, I just feel for them so much. Anyway, so hi, the blind leaving the blind. Hi, Mello. Oh, I'm just about finishing now, Mello. So you just have to make your chips. Well, you can listen from the beginning, can't you, and make your chips. Yeah, I think they've already got a drone in there. There was a drone going round, David, I think. So, okay, so where are we? So, yeah. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So, now let me tell you what's happening tomorrow. So, tomorrow I'll be back with the Advent calendar, of course, in the morning. Now, tomorrow night is Members Live. So, because we're back to normal this week, back to Thursday. And what I'll be talking to you all about in Members Live tomorrow is I have had a reply from the Freedom of Information people about the Paul Ansell 999 call. So we're going to go through that reply together, and then we'll see what we make of it. So that's tomorrow. Oh yeah, and Chumba, the other thing I want to add to anybody who's just coming in now, John Venables, one of the murderers of Jamie Bulger, has been denied parole. So that was something I talked about right at the beginning. So there has been some good news. So let's finish on the positive news that John Venables has been denied parole. Now, how long? I don't know whether he comes up for parole every year. I don't know how it works. But anyway, this year he's not been given it. I can't even believe that he was considered for it. You're talking about, all right, he was a boy when he did what he did, but it was a terrible, not many, you know, people make mistakes when they're young, but that's a pretty horrible mistake that he made. But okay, so they let him out when he was 18. They gave him a new identity. He did well, not the same thing. He didn't murder anybody, but he had child pornography on his computer. So they put him back in prison. Then they did exactly the same thing again. And now he's trying to get parole again. So, yeah, Dirty John, Charlie, Dirty John. So that was a bit of good news that we had tonight, that he was denied. He was denied parole. Oh, what happened with Wendy? Oh, Wendy. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Goodness me. God, do you know, and accidents, when they happen, I think a lot of accidents actually happen around Christmas because people are rushing around a lot, aren't they? You know, I think people are rushing around a lot, but well, you know, the 411, the other boy. Now you're saying he's moved to New Zealand. I heard that as well, but I can't confirm that. You know, I can't prove that. There's no, because nobody knows really what happened. But I heard that he'd moved away. He apparently, from what I know, has never done anything wrong again, and he's in a relationship with a man. And he's been fine. He's been like, you know, there's been no, as far as I know, but the trouble is, would we get to know? But you do nowadays with social media and everything, leaks do tend to get out, don't they? But I heard exactly the same thing, that he'd moved away. I wasn't sure if it was New Zealand or Australia, but somewhere far away. He's in a relationship with a man and he's been fine. Everything's fine. But it's John Venables, Dirty John, as Charlie called him. He's the one who. Hello, Essex Boys Outlaw. Why is everybody arriving right at the end? Maybe I need to start doing later lives. Everybody's coming in now, and I've just finished basically. So I might put another poll out tomorrow to the members to see what time do you want the live tomorrow night. Do you know I normally do a live at 8 Spanish time, 7 UK time, but I can do it later. Hi, Mariah. I thought it was Australia, to be honest. I heard it was Australia as well. So it was, God, what's his name? Robert someone, isn't it? But yeah, to be fair, I don't think he's reoffended again and is in a settled relationship. Wendy, you should write a book. Everyone should write a book, everyone. Oh dear. Oh, Ebo, we do miss you when you're not here, because you are quite funny. Unlike the idiot we had in earlier, who was trying to be funny, but he actually wasn't funny, so we had to get rid of him. Yeah, maybe later's a bit better, because then I said, look, oh, gosh, that's the dog's barking. Yeah, maybe later's better. We try later one tomorrow. Try 9 o'clock Spanish time and 8 o'clock UK time and see how it goes. And we may have some news about Gaynor by then. I hope it's good news. I hope it's good news. Okay, so I've got to finish now. So remember to live and love wisely, carefully. Oh, you have some news, Ebo. Come on then, give me your news. Oh, come on then. Right, hang on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Ebo's got some news. Come on then, Ebo. Give us the news. We're holding the phone for you. Oh, followed in what sense? Like what, threatened, or is this a joke or is it real? Poor Jason. I always feel a bit sorry for Jason. I don't know why. Oh. Well, on Friday, I'm going to look again at this thing with Evelina, the vet, because there's a few things. Gosh. Yeah. Listen, you should send me an email to let me know, Essex, and then tomorrow, we'll talk about it tomorrow because we've got the members live tomorrow, and we're going to talk about so Friday night I'm going to do a live about the vet. Okay, I've got to go now, but we'll see tomorrow. We'll talk about it on members, won't we? And then yeah. Well, the thing is, Susan, the MSM, to be fair to them, the mainstream media, they can't report on things unless they've actually got evidence. What do they think they're going upstairs? They can't talk about unless they've got evidence. So anyway, we'll say some prayers for Gaynor tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow night to talk about it. I've really got to go. So may your God go with you. Bye.